Welcome, everybody, to a Super Bowl hangover edition of the Cover 2 podcast, both literally and figuratively. I am Nick NenaD.
And I am Jared Smith.
And boy, guys, do we have a lot to talk about today about the big game. We did a lot of promotion last week. We really got you guys ready for that game. And it ended up being a massive success, and the game was awesome, and we're going to talk all about it. We're also going to talk about some not so awesome stuff for me and my Arizona Cardinals, as Kyler Murray is in the trenches of controversy. Bad rumors coming about him and his leadership about the team and the future of him and the Cardinals, which is something that I never thought would be happening the last week, even with him taking all the stuff off social media. But I'll get into that in a second. But Jared, how are we feeling post Super Bowl, literally, and about the game? How's your body feeling? How much did you drink yesterday? All that stuff. Like, how you feeling after the LA Super Bowl here? Yesterday.
Listen, man, for a Monday, I feel great. I had a couple drinks, but I didn't drink too much, didn't get too crazy. I was in San Diego with my girlfriend and some friends, and we watched the game and ate a lot. I ate way more than I should have, but that was, I'm feeling great. I know that you had a few more drinks than I did, so you were on the struggle bus a little bit more. But you know what, man? You know why I'm feeling so great? It's not only because I didn't drink as much. It's because it's like a brand new day, a brand new year. We're less than 24 hours, right, from the Super Bowl, from the Rams winning. And, it's a clean slate. I'm on to next year, right? I've been on to next year from the moment that the Cowboys got eliminated by the San Francisco 49ers in the wildcard game. That's why I'm wearing my Cowboys gear right now. It's a brand new season, right? We got draft season coming up, and I'm already looking forward to the 2022-2023 season. Super Bowl will be in Arizona, in your favorite team's home field, right? So that should be fun. Hopefully my Cowboys, have a better opportunity than they do this year. But we'll see, right? If your Cardinals can be the third team in a row to host the Super Bowl in their own stadium, because obviously the last two teams have won. So, but no, I feel good. I feel great. I am a little jealous, I do have to say. My parents did go to the Super Bowl yesterday. They were in a really nice suite, right? And my dad, I'm texting him, and I'm like, "Where are the pictures? Like, I know you guys have been there for a couple hours. Right. Like, well, what are you guys doing, right? At least give me some love over here." The first picture that I get is a picture of my dad and Floyd Mayweather. Just like Floyd's got more ice on than I don't know how he's even standing up. He's got so much ice on his neck. It's crazy, right? And then my mom, she's like, "Oh yeah, I got to hold one of his chains or something like that." And I'm just like, that's cool. They got Cardi B in the suite right next to him. Chris Rock, they can see him right there. Like Floyd Mayweather, by the way, had two of his big ass bodyguards, 400-pound dudes with him at all times, of course. So they said that was just nuts, and just anyone and everyone was at the Super Bowl, right? If you were a somebody or whatever, everyone was at the Super Bowl. If you wanted to find somebody, you should have been at SoFi Stadium yesterday from 3 to 6, because anyone and everyone, like I said, was there. So I'm jealous that they got to go, but from all the pictures, it looked like a great time. They took a video of the halftime performance as well. But how was your Super Bowl? It seems like you were struggling a little bit. We had to delay the start of this podcast a little while, but talk to me about your experience.
No, it was fun. I was at a party with a bunch of people. I always and Jared, you've been to some of these. It wasn't my party per se, but I do try to set up for some of these big events, kind of a crowd, an environment to be around. And so I was able to attend that yesterday with about 20 people. Most of them not caring too much about the game because they're not football fans, but that's everything. I mean, that's part of the Super Bowl experience, is you get to watch it with people that really, some of them have no idea. I mean, I can't tell you how many girls yesterday asked me what was going on during the game. And in the midst of me, a sports podcaster, a guy that loves sports, to have to explain what a first down is during the Super Bowl, kind of annoying. but it's part of the experience again. So I had a really good time. I drank a lot. I played football. I again today I'm sore because I ran and did way too many routes, covered too many guys. I think I did. I'll say this: I did cover better than apparently Eli Apple did yesterday, and a lot of wide receivers are coming out after him on social media. But
not just wide receivers. Everybody.
Yeah.
He was getting roasted. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, no, of course. And so I had a good time though. I played a little football. The game was great. Drank, had a good time. And it had a good time after and partied up a little bit after too. So it was a great time, Jared Smith. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling it today. Like that's why I got my Gatorade, I got my blue Gatorade, to help me out today. So I'm good. Let's get into the game though. So Bengals end up losing. I think a lot of people expected that, right? I for sure thought it was going to be a close game. I did not predict the Bengals to win, but I could say that, I got the score pretty close to what I thought it was. I thought it'd be a walk-off field goal, but I mean the amount of points, the way the game flowed defensively, all that stuff, it was good. And I think the one thing that I think about after this game is, man, if the Bengals had just even a sort of competent offensive line, they could have won the Super Bowl and shocked the world. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. It was in my keys, both on the Rams defensive line side and the Bengals offensive line side. I thought that was going to be the matchup that won the Super Bowl, and it did. Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, they got to Joe Burrow, I believe it was 7 times, including the last play of the game, when the Bengals were trying to keep the Super Bowl alive for them. So, that's really what I think of when as the main reason the Bengals lost this game and the Rams won. But also, I mean, the Bengals didn't score a normal touchdown in this game too. I mean, the Rams really kind of killed them in this game, realistically. Obviously, you have the penalty touchdown that T. Higgins scored, where he literally face masked Jalen Ramsey, shouldn't have counted. And you have Joe Mixon threw a touchdown pass in this game as well. So really, like, as far as the Bengals go, they really didn't compete that much in this game. I mean, they did literally, but like the Rams really controlled this game and won. And it was kind of crazy that they were losing most of the game. But I go to that offensive line, defensive line matchup as my first thoughts. What are your first thoughts on the game? And what do you think the reason is that the Rams won?
Yeah, I picked the Bengals to win this game. And the way the game flowed for the first 3.5 quarters, went kind of exactly how I thought. I expected the Rams to come out and take an early lead, have that early momentum, being in their home stadium, even though they didn't have that home crowd advantage, because actually more of the crowd was rooting for the Bengals. But still have that familiarity of, being in your own locker rooms, you know what I mean? Even though they slept in a hotel the night before, just not having to travel. I expected the Rams to come out with a little more energy, which they did, right? They jumped out to that early 7-0 lead, scored the first touchdown, and then really in the first half kind of controlled things to an extent. And then the Bengals had to kind of fight their way back, which is what the Bengals have done all postseason. They did it against Kansas City Chiefs. They did it against the Tennessee Titans, right? The Oakland Raiders in their wildcard matchup was really the only game where they kind of controlled the majority of the way. So the game flowed like I expected. Seriously waiting for Joe Burrow to have that kind of, coming out party.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, we all know how great Joe Burrow is, the number 1 overall draft pick, all that stuff. But like, you really make a name for yourself in the postseason and on the biggest stage. And I was expecting him to do that. And really, if you look at the last play of the game for the Bengals, when Aaron Donald, essentially sacked Joe Burrow and he got twisted around and had to just throw the ball up, and hope for a prayer. Jamar Chase beat Jalen Ramsey down the sideline. Could have just stayed on his feet, or let me put it this way: if the Bengals offensive line could have protected for an extra half second, that would have been a touchdown to Jamar Chase. And the Rams probably would have had like less than a minute to go down the field and score. So I'm not going to say that the Rams couldn't have done that, but the Bengals would have scored. That was going to be a touchdown. Like, you're exactly right.
Ramsey fell down.
The T. Higgins touchdown should not have counted, because Jalen Ramsey literally had his face mask ripped off of his head. But other than that, Jalen Ramsey had a poor performance. He gave up a long pass to Jamar Chase in the first quarter. I believe it was their first drive of the game. And then, like I said, the very last play, he got burnt as well. And so we're not going to sit here and argue that Jalen Ramsey is one of the top 2, top 3 corners in the entire league and deserves to be paid like that. but he did not have his best
No,
performance in this
not at
game.
all.
And it clearly showed Jamar Chase, the rookie, was torching Jalen Ramsey. And so if you're a Bengals fan, that last play is very hard to look at, right? And games are never won on one singular play, but you got to just say, damn, man, like if he had an extra half second, what it could have been. But you're exactly right. The offensive line for the Bengals and the defensive line for the Rams was the turning point in this game, because you take a couple of those sacks away, and I think the Bengals win this game. And I think that's why you saw this team, and specifically Joe Burrow, so deflated, because it's like they had that championship trophy in their grasp. They didn't get blown out. It's not like they got rolled over or anything. They were there. They competed. Their defense played tough. Got 2 turnovers of Matthew Stafford, and I don't know if I said it on this podcast or on Twitter. I said if Matthew Stafford turned the ball over more than one time, Bengals are going to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I get it. Matthew Stafford threw 3 touchdowns, threw for 283 yards, but when Matthew Stafford throws more than one interception, that's usually a recipe for disaster. And the Bengals just could not capitalize on that. And so to me, I'm looking at it more from a Bengals perspective. Congratulations to the Rams. They completely deserve that win. But the Bengals kind of lost this game to me, man. We should be talking about the Bengals championship right now.
Yeah, well, but so I agree with you. They lost the game at the end because of their own. Because of just their own players. But again, the way the game flowed, the Bengals did also get lucky. And the reason they were close and weren't down by 8 or 9 on the in the last couple of minutes is because T. Higgins face masked Jalen Ramsey, and they came up with, and Matthew Stafford threw a horrible interception in the end zone in this game as well. So, but again, it turned into an entertaining game. That's all I really care about when it comes to teams that are not the Arizona Cardinals. I want the Arizona Cardinals to win every game that they play, and I don't want their games to be competitive, because I want to just sit there and have a beer and not stress, right? I want to have a stress-free football season once, which doesn't happen, obviously. It's not realistic. But so I was down for the controversy. I was down for the referees letting them play and then not letting them play later in the game. Like, it was great. It was fun.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the refs, right? Because that was like one of the fastest Super Bowls that I can remember in a long time, right? I mean, I was saying it with the people that I was with yesterday. Like, we were midway through the second quarter, and there hadn't been one penalty flag, right? And then I think through the third quarter, there had only been 2 or 3 flags the entire game, which I very much appreciated, right? The referees were letting the players play and letting them decide the outcome. And then we get to the final few minutes of the game where the Rams are driving down the field, and we get multiple flags on the Cincinnati Bengals. And not to say that they were not flags, because one of them was a holding call on their linebacker. I forget his name. The other one was a pass interference call on Eli Apple against Cooper Kupp. But, it's just interesting how the game went so fast, and then all of a sudden, in the most crucial moments of the game, the referees decided to say, oh, hey, guys, like, did you forget about us? Yeah, we're here. We're going to start to get flag happy now. But talk to me about this one, Nick, because while the referees threw a flag on the Cincinnati linebacker against Cooper Kupp, the first flag of that final drive, the referees clearly missed a false start by the Rams offensive line. There was, I believe it was the left tackle and the right guard, if I'm not mistaken. Both of them jumped before the snap, and the referees clearly missed it. Like, I saw that live on TV. And so, to me, like I said, just talk about the refereeing and what you thought about it, because I thought they missed a false start call, which would have completely nullified the play, and there would never have been that first holding call in the first place by the Bengals.
It's okay. Well, first of all, I love the fact that they didn't call penalties, because here's the thing. Again, it is about like the players playing on the game, and we shouldn't be talking about the refs, Monday morning or Tuesday morning, whenever the game is played. And so, for me, obviously you need to call the T. Higgins one. You just need to call that. Okay. I know offensive players get away with more in the face mask range. Obviously, you can take a guy's face mask and helmet and shove him to the ground. But if a defensive player did that, they get a penalty. So there's obviously You know.
Oh, if that would have been the defensive player on T Higgins, Jalen Ramsey would have been like handcuffed and sent to jail. Just simply, you know what I mean? Like defenders simply can't do that, but for some reason, offensive players can get away with murder.
Yeah, no. So you need to call that one, but like, yeah, Super Bowl, you really shouldn't be calling holding unless it's absolutely blatant and it's right before sack. You really shouldn't be calling pass interference unless it's blatant. And Jesus Christ, the holding on defense, come on. I hated that call at the end. But again, the Bengals were allowed to score a literal touchdown because of a penalty. So I'm not. It's like tick for tack, right? Like you get that one called back. Maybe they don't call that one in the end zone. Maybe the refs were like, okay, there's a little bit of holding. We need to give the Rams one here. Give them one more shot. It's not like they said that's a touchdown. The Rams still had to score again, right? And it took a while, and and then Cooper Kupp's wide open in the end zone. But it's like, I don't know. I liked the way it was going and the way it went, and I don't really have a problem with the refs this morning, to be honest. I don't. I have a problem with the non-call on T. Higgins, and I have a problem with that call. It was third down, right? Was it third down or fourth down?
I think it was third.
Yeah, so I mean that's essentially it's either overtime or Bengals win if they don't call that, which kind of sucks. Right, because I would have been down for overtime. Right, I don't care about either of these teams. I didn't want the Rams.
It was before that. It was 20-16. So the Rams they couldn't have.
Oh, that's right.
So it wouldn't have gone to overtime.
You're right.
They had to score.
Yeah, no. So you're 100% correct. I was thinking 2017 for some reason, but yeah, I didn't have a problem. Right, like it kind of just evened out for me. And when even though I wanted the Bengals to win, it was like I mean, they still got to score, so there's plenty of time for the Bengals still to score. So it's not. It's the Bengals lost on their last drive because they couldn't block, not because of a penalty in the drive.
My thing.
Yeah,
I hear you. I get it, and you're right. Like things kind of did even out because there were calls or non-calls that went both ways, which made it more even. It's not like one team got the brunt of all the bad calls and the other team. You know what I mean? But here's my gripe with the referees. The referees just like get the actual fouls correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like obviously the T. Higgins play should have been called a foul. The first holding call against the Cincinnati Bengals linebacker against Cooper Kupp should not have been called at all. That was not holding. It's just the referees sometimes are not in a great position and do not clearly see what's going on. And if the receiver, and I'm not saying Cooper Kupp, sold it, but he does play in LA and Hollywood and probably has gotten a couple of acting lessons before, right? Yeah. So if a receiver or a player sells it well enough and a referee is in bad position, they're more than likely to call it just because, it looks like a flag. So how about the referees just do a better job of calling the actual penalties and not calling penalties that shouldn't be called? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this goes to my thing of referees need to be full-time employees. How many damn times do I need to say this on this podcast?
From me, I was gonna steal it from you this time. I was gonna steal it.
God damn, it's you know what I mean? Like, how many times do we need to say it? These referees need to be more consistent, and they need to be full-time employees. Like we see this, we saw it in the Super Bowl, the most watched, right, most anticipated game in all North American sports, and the referees still find a way to have their names talked about in this game.
I just think
we should only be talking about the players.
I think the NFL needs to, and they should. Again, you get better ratings and people would have more fun watching the games. But like, I think the NFL should only focus with referees on limiting injuries. That's it. I really don't think like they need to tell the refs, hey, the plays that aren't going to hurt people, we need to kind of scale it back. Like we need to change the idea of holding a wide receiver. Like it's not really that. It's not. Like the defense has to be able to do something to stop guys. Like you can't pass interference, right? You can't stop a guy, but like the guy's holding on to the guy's jersey a little bit. Like who cares, right? I don't think like we go and I'm watching DeAndre Hopkins get covered, or you're watching Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, right? And we're going the whole time, oh, he's holding. No, we see it after when they call a penalty, right? Like nobody's seeing that happen. There's holding on every play on the offensive and defensive line. So why can't there just be a little bit of holding from both guys with wide receivers? Like I think they need to scale that back pass interference, obviously, you need to keep that. But again, and it's like the defenseless receiver stuff. I like it, right? I love the big hits more, but I understand it because a guy like my brother now might be able to play in the NFL or in college football like he's doing right now, and he's not going to get as hurt as a guy 20 years ago, right? He's going to have a better career, right? He might have a longer career, right? And that's biased as my brother's a wide receiver. So it's like, take all the penalties that you call to mitigate injuries and kind of just scale back all the ones that don't really hurt guys and kind of just make it a little bit more competitive. No. Defense wins championships, but like they're trying to take that away. Kind of.
Oh yeah, no. The NFL wants more points scored.
Yeah.
Because points
it's not going to happen.
Equals
like they're not going to change rules.
It's a more entertaining game, and you will get more people who aren't as interested in football to actually maybe start liking football more, right? Like the NFL is always going to have their blue bloods. You and I, I'll watch any type of football. I don't care what league it is. You know what I mean? Like if there's football on TV, I'm going to watch it. But what the NFL is trying to do is constantly get new people, new fans as a part of the sport. And how do you do that? You don't necessarily do that by having defensive scores, right? We look at Major League Baseball, and we'll get into this in the next couple podcasts, but Major League Baseball has a big problem right now with its status as far as being popular when it comes to the four major sports in North America. And one of the reasons why they're probably dead last is because they have not kept up with the times, right? Who wants to really go spend a lot of money or even watch on TV a 1-0 boring game, right? And then, like, you can't really celebrate, you can't do too, you know what I mean? Like, so the NFL is trying to make things more fun with scoring points, but that's also hurting defenses and individual players. And on a whole nother level, that hurts guys when it comes to their actual career, when it comes to, talking a contract extension or wanting to get more money. It goes way beyond what the NFL wants, which is to get more fans, right? This is actually hurting the defensive players who are trying to make a living out of this game.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, they're not going to change the rules, but I would just like to see it because I don't think it would hurt the game that much. And I do think, like, it would just, I guess it would just help football fans. Like, the NFL has the highest ratings it ever has. I'm interested to see how many people watch the Super Bowl too. Based on the ratings for all the playoff games, oh my God, I can't wait to see, like, maybe the entire United States watch this game. Like, I'm telling you, like, I hung out with people yesterday that I always hang out with, like, and that's why everybody was kind of there. It wasn't like people were there to watch Super Bowl, but like, there's people that were interested in the game and like were intending on coming to watch the Super Bowl and really wanted to watch the Super Bowl and come over and have an event about it. And it was the people that really don't care about the game that were, trying to figure out this party and stuff. So that was cool to see too on my end. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the referees ruined this game. And I do think that if you look at the two major fouls that are being talked about today, it was one against each team, and it ended up as a result of a touchdown for both teams. And if you don't call them, the score is the same. I think the Bengals still lose by 3. So if you just look at the way the game goes, so really doesn't make the big deal to me. I want to talk about, before we kind of get off this game, let's say something about Odell Beckham Jr. Okay?
Yeah, I want to get it. Yeah.
Obviously, like, the guy is hated by a lot of people. Right? I wasn't the biggest Odell Beckham Jr. fan. I thought he was more me first than team first. And since he got to the Rams, he's been a different guy, man. And it was great to see him at the end of that game get that Super Bowl and cry on the sidelines. And it got me emotional too, because the guy did not deserve to get injured in that game. Like, that sucked. And it really did change the game a little bit for the Rams. I think the Rams were going to kill him if Odell doesn't get hurt. The Odell
he couldn't be guarded.
No, the Odell Beckham Jr. injury was number 2 reason why the Bengals had a chance, and it was the number 2 reason why the game went the way it was. So, but just to talk about Odell, like, I'm a fan of Odell Beckham Jr. now. I loved the way he finished the season. I hope he doesn't play for the Rams anymore, because I don't like the Rams. I hope he doesn't play for the Seahawks. I hope he doesn't play for the Niners. Anybody else? And the Cowboys. I hope he doesn't play for. Sorry, Jared. I hope he doesn't play for the Cowboys. Anybody else, I'm good though. Like, go, and I'm gonna cheer for that guy, and I want him on my fantasy team, and it's gonna be in 2024 because, or 2023 or whatever, because he has an ACL injury on the same knee he already injured. He's gonna be out for a year. Okay, I don't think he plays next year, right? So, but for me, I'm an Odell Beckham Jr. fan, and that's all I got to say about it. Like, that guy earned my respect this whole year. He didn't deserve to get injured. We need to get rid of turf. And it's just, yeah, I'm an Odell Beckham Jr. fan now after the Super Bowl.
I mean, listen, like, I don't know if you could ever just like take the air out of a Super Bowl or out of a Super Bowl game, but
Yeah.
when Odell Beckham Jr. went down, just like, come on, man, like, really?
Yeah.
Like those non-contact injuries where you just know,
Brutal.
right? Like, we all knew it was something to do with his ACL, especially with the fact that it was his same knee that he previously had injured too. It was sad because he was torching the Bengals secondary, right? Obviously, their number one focus was on Cooper Kupp, but there were single coverage on Odell Beckham. He had already scored a touchdown. He had just had a nice, like, 30-yard completion across the middle, and he was going to go for over 100 yards. To be honest, Odell Beckham Jr., in my opinion, would have been the MVP. I think he was going to have one of those 150-yard, 2-touchdown games. Odell Beckham Jr. was going to let everyone know, hey, I'm back. Like, I'm the Odell Beckham Jr. from the New York Giants, not the dude that got traded to Cleveland, and I had an inept quarterback that could not throw me the ball in Baker Mayfield. So yeah, I feel bad for Odell Beckham. I'm happy that they won and that he got that kind of validation because he completely deserves it. But I do feel bad because you're right. It's going to be very tough for him, to come back and play next year. I'm not going to put it out of the question because I think the dude's a freak athlete. And I guess if there's any type of silver lining from this injury, it's the fact that he has gone through this before and he should know what the physical therapy is going to be like. He should know what the entire recovery process is going to be like, right? And so he should know exactly what he needs to do to get back and that kind of time frame. So hopefully he can have a little bit of peace of mind from that standpoint and knowing, okay, last time I was injured, it took me this long to get back. So, you know what I mean? So maybe he can have some type of ballpark range. But you're right. It is going to be tougher. And he's also going to be a free agent. And so from a money standpoint, I think he proved himself that he is still worthy of being a top receiver in this league. And hopefully a team, whether it's the Rams or someone else, will still, bet on him. But I think he did, unfortunately, lose a lot of money by getting re-injured. And like I said, it's just unfortunate, but happy that he won and he was able to at least get a ring out of all that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, this was the best I've seen of Odell Beckham Jr. since before his first ACL injury. And so it sucks because now, again, like you said, we may never see that again, like the way these injuries go. And now, what I've seen in the past too is a guy tears his ACL in one leg and then he tears the ACL in the other leg potentially because you're putting too much pressure all the time on the other leg, and you maybe change your running style because you're afraid. And now it's two for him. So there might be another injury coming down the line, another leg injury. So if this was the last we saw of like legit Odell Beckham Jr., I'm good. Like, that was great. And he would have won the Super Bowl MVP, like you said. He would have been the guy, and he would have got paid millions and millions of dollars, or millions and billions, like The Rock said before the game started. So, it's, like I said, I'm an Odell fan, and it sucks that he got hurt. And he was the second biggest thing about that game, as far as the way it swung. Rams were killing the Bengals when Odell was healthy, and when Odell was not playing in the game anymore, the Bengals came back, and we're winning the whole time. So it'd be interesting to see where he signs too. I have a feeling he doesn't sign anywhere until he's done with his injury, and maybe he just doesn't play next year at all. But I'd still pay the guy. I think if in 2023, I'd still pay him. You know what I'm saying?
I think I can see the Rams paying him and giving him some type of contract because he, just won a championship with that team and they know him. Any other team, all the 31 other teams, I think they're waiting. They're saying, listen, man, we know what you just did. We understand your comeback story, but we still got to wait and see. You know what I mean? I think because it's the Rams and there's some type of loyalty now there because they've won a championship, I could see them offering him or extending him a contract. But I think unless the Rams do, I think he's going to kind of be shit out of luck in a sense until he can prove that his injury rehab is going well and on schedule and there's a return date in sight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
absolutely. So, speaking of guys that might not return next year, the Rams roster is going to be kind of interesting to follow. Like they sold their soul, right, to win the Super Bowl, and they won it. But you don't have Odell Beckham Jr. and you definitely don't have him because of the injury now next year. You're going to have to pay Kupp. Did Kupp already get an extension? Am I missing that? Am I forgetting?
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
Check it out. I'll keep talking. Give me the notes on it. If Kupp hasn't been paid, he's going to get paid. You have Stafford still. Aaron Donald might retire. That I guess would help the cap situation, right? If he leaves, but then you lose Aaron Donald. Are you going to be able to sign back Von Miller? Like all these guys. For me, I could see, and they did. Maybe Sean McVay leaves too, which is like it's such an interesting thing. So I don't really know what to think about the Rams next year as a team. So I'll talk about the Bengals, and if you have an opinion on what you think the Rams will be, then you can give it when it's your time. For the Bengals, I think, like I said about the game, there's one thing they need to do: go fix your offensive line, right? Maybe fix your defense a little bit too. Defense played great, but always adding defensive pieces is never a problem. I'd just pay Burrow. I'd pay him right now. Just give him a contract right now. Give him like $40 million, right? I got cops all over the place outside my apartment complex, being super loud. It's not me.
What'd you do? You sure?
It's not me.
You're
it's
right?
not.
We can keep going with the podcast. We're not going to get interrupted
for a second. No. But so for the Bengals, I think next year, in order for them to really get back, potentially even into the playoffs, they need to fix that offensive line. Because think about it. The Ravens will be better. They get Lamar Jackson back. Again, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens would have made the playoffs if Lamar was healthy the last month. Okay? And like I said, maybe the Bengals are the 7th seed. Maybe they lose the first round, right? And they get killed by the Chiefs, right? Or the Bills or something like that. So it's like, for me, they need to go out and sign or do anything you possibly can to get the offensive line better, and just shore up that defense and pay Burrow. If those things don't happen, I'm telling you, this team might not make the playoffs next year. Like, they had a miracle run at the Super Bowl, and then for me, apart from a couple lucky plays, they were absolutely outplayed in the Super Bowl, okay, and really didn't look like they should have been there. So, especially as a football guy that knows kind of what was going on in the game, they shouldn't have been there, okay? It should have been the Bills or it should have been the Chiefs, okay? So, for the Bengals, they need to look and go, it doesn't matter that we made the Super Bowl. We need to fix this roster. Do you agree with me on that about the Bengals, or do you think this is still one of the top teams in the NFL?
Really quick, Cooper Kupp, he is such a bargain for the Rams right now. If I'm Cooper Kupp and Cooper Kupp's agent, he's a stand-up guy, so I know he wouldn't do this, but I'm going to the Rams and saying, I'm not stepping 1 foot on that field until y'all give me a contract extension.
Give him the bag.
Literally. Yeah, give the bag. He signed a contract extension in, I believe, last offseason for 3 years, $47 million. So I believe this year his base salary for 2021 was only $1.5 million. Next year that goes up to 14.8.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? So, but still, when we see other receivers that are, asking for 18, 19, 20 million, and Cooper Kupp just won the Triple Crown and just won the Super Bowl MVP, like, he is grossly underpaid, right? It's kind of, so yes, the Rams have a bargain right now for the best receiver in the entire NFL. And I'm glad that you kind of did bring up, somewhat of the offseason and what's going to happen going forward with both of these teams. I'll quickly speak on the Bengals. You're absolutely right. This team was a Cinderella team. I think they have some great pieces moving forward. Obviously, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, one of the top 2 or top 3 best quarterback receiving duos in all of the league. I think Joe Mixon's a great running back. T. Higgins has proven number 2, even potentially a number 1 receiver. Tyler Boyd, a great slot receiver, but you're right. It is all offensive line. If I'm the Bengals going into this draft, even though they're going to have the 31st pick, I'm going offensive line 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, right? Unless you can get some great steals in free agency. I'm not sure what free agents are going to be out there as far as the offensive line goes, but yes, you have to protect Joe Burrow, right? They chose last draft to draft Jamar Chase and not Penei Sewell, who was the basically the best lineman in the entire draft. but you cannot avoid that any longer. We have seen from Joe Burrow getting sacked 9 times against the Tennessee Titans and then 7 times in the Super Bowl that is not sustainable.
Yeah.
Right. He's already 1 torn ACL, and I think 1 is enough for anyone's career. Right. And so it is completely offensive line for this team. Their defense, it was good enough. But here's the thing. You're right. Like how they barely squeaked in. And if the Ravens would have had Lamar Jackson, how the Bengals might have not gotten in. Let's not forget, the Bengals lost to the Chicago Bears, who were a horrible team this year. The Bengals lost to the New York Jets, who were a god-awful team this year, right? So the Bengals were 10-7. It's not like they were this juggernaut team that was 14-3, or you know what I mean? Like the Bengals, yes, they had some good things happen, but they also had some very bad games. And so yes, unless they shore up some things in the offseason, ain't no one picking the Bengals to repeat and go back to the Super Bowl again. Especially not in the AFC, not when you have all those quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? Like that is a juggernaut of a conference. I think the AFC is way and above the NFC when it comes to competition moving forward. Really quickly on the Rams, and sorry if I am repeating something that you said because I was looking up Cooper Kupp's contract. Listen, it's really going to be interesting because obviously the Rams have gone all in, right? Put all their eggs in one basket and went all in on this year, and it paid off. The other teams try to do the same thing now? I think so. Because no matter what happens to the Rams moving forward, even if they're a shit team next year, they always have this Super Bowl to come back on, right? And I don't care who you are, what franchise you root for, my Dallas Cowboys, your Arizona Cardinals, I would want to do the same damn thing if it means winning a Super Bowl. So they have traded away so much of their draft capital. Sorry. Aaron Donald is potentially retiring this offseason. That was a report that came out literally hours before the Super Bowl started. Let's see. Whitworth, their all-pro left tackle, who is now the age of 40 and won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, he is retiring. Von Miller said he's going to test free agency because this is the first year since he's been a pro that he will be able to be courted by other teams. So not to say that he can't come back to the Rams, but understandably, I would as well test free agency, see what it's like. You know what I mean? See what other teams are really interested in you. So yeah, like Matthew Stafford will return. They're going to work on a contract extension for him. But let's see. They're losing their left tackle, potentially losing Aaron Donald, and I believe, like you mentioned, Sean McVay. There are reports of him potentially retiring.
Dude, it's insane.
This Rams team, like I said, you know, all your eggs in one basket, and you won the championship, and they can never take that away from you. The future looks kind of bleak right now. So, you know, hold on to this for another week and enjoy this, because once draft season really comes around and once we get into free agency in the offseason and the summer, this Rams team is going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Jared, I'm going to say this just to pile on to a rival. Again, there's a lot of people that thought the Rams might lose this game because of your quarterback. Like, that's the other thing, too. So you're going to take away his number one asset, which is his left tackle. You're going to take away who should have been in my opinion, the MVP of the game yesterday, Aaron Donald, right? You know, Jalen Ramsey, there was spots in this of this season where he did not look like an all-pro, including most of the Super Bowl yesterday. Okay, I mean, again, if they lose, it's Jalen Ramsey's fault in a lot of ways for not being able to stop Jamar Chase the whole game, right? You know, and then you lose your head coach. They're losing more coordinators, right? You said they're losing Von Miller. They don't have Odell, but they do get Robert Woods. So, but where's Robert Woods going to be? Where's Robert Woods going to be after, you know, him tearing his own, or is it tearing Achilles, right? With a horrible injury. I mean, it took Klay Thompson multiple years to come back from that, although he did tear his ACL and then Achilles. So bad example. But so yeah, I don't know where the Rams are. So I'm like, when we do our summer predictions and roster overviews, we're gonna have to do the Rams last. We got to see who their head coach is, who their defensive coordinator is, offensive coordinator, number one defensive player. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, next year, if it all does work out, they still have Aaron Donald under contract. They still have Ramsey, Stafford, Leonard Floyd, Cooper Kupp, Whitworth if he wants to come back.
Oh no, dude. Why? Listen, you're 41 years old. You play offensive line. like you won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. You just won a Super Bowl, right? Like it would be really cool for him. He won a national championship at LSU. His last game that he played for LSU, he won a national championship, and potentially his last game he played in the NFL, he won the championship. Like, you can't write a better script. Go retire. Looks like you got a beautiful family. He does so much charity work. Like, go start your next career. And it's just amazing that he is. He has been injured, but the fact that, like, walk away from the game while you can still literally walk, especially for an offensive lineman, right? A lot of times you can't say that, and at the age of 40, like, walk away, bro. You're good. You don't need to prove anything else to anybody. Okay, like Tom Brady is in his own world. You ain't trying to chase that and play till you're 42, 43 on the offensive line.
And the running game was terrible all year for this team.
Awful.
Yeah,
made the Bengals look like the '85 Bears.
Yeah,
like the Bengals had a good run defense, but still, like, yes, the Rams' offensive line is going to need an overhaul.
Yeah, no, I mean, so they got a lot to figure out. But enjoy the Super Bowl, guys. All the 50
That's
Rams.
what I'm saying. Party for another month.
Yeah, you guys got your Super Bowl. You literally built a football stadium, moved the team here. The NFL essentially coordinated this too, to have what happened yesterday happen. Okay? Nobody needs the Rams anymore. Okay? There's not that many fans in LA of this team, too. I'm telling you, we live here. There's more Chargers fans probably realistically than there are Rams fans, just because the team didn't exist 5-6 years ago, right? And so we're good. You take the Rams out of the NFL tomorrow, nobody's going to care, okay? So they got their Super Bowl. McVay won his deserved Super Bowl. Aaron Donald won it. Jalen Ramsey won it. Matthew Stafford finally got it. Cooper Kupp got it. He's the best receiver in the league, and we have DeAndre Hopkins. And Andrew Whitworth got it, right? So good for them, but we don't need the Rams anymore. All right, Jared, we got to talk about it. I don't want to talk.
No, I do.
Okay. I don't.
Get into it.
Okay, so why don't you lead? Let the people know what we're about to talk about.
Listen. We talked about it a little bit and more teased it more so than anything else on our last episode from last week. But your boy Kyler Murray, and I don't even know if I can say your boy anymore because it seems like the tables have turned. The tide has turned a little bit. There's some tension down there in Arizona. With your Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray specifically, and it seems like the organization, right? It seems Kyler Murray, first of all, last week, deleted posts of anything about the Arizona Cardinals. He unfollowed them on social media. He took away all pictures of him with anything related to do with the Cardinals. And we were like, whoa, like, is he sending a message? Did he get hacked? What happened? Turns out Chris Mortensen of ESPN, this is at least where I heard it from, I'm sure that other news outlets have reported this as well, that Kyler Murray is unhappy with the organization. He feels that he is, being claimed as the reason why this team lost and got beat down by the Rams, the eventual Super Bowl champions, in the first round of the playoffs. He's also in a contract extension year, so he's looking to reportedly get paid $50 million a year, which would easily make him not only the highest quarterback, but the highest player in the entire league. This is a guy who so far has led his team to the playoffs once, I believe, in his entire career. And in that one playoff game, they completely shit the bed. And yet he is asking for $50 million. Nick NenaD.
It pisses me off, Jared. And it doesn't piss me off that I have to come on to this podcast to talk about it because I knew I'd have to do that immediately when I saw the tweet. It pisses me off because Kyler Murray's the only guy that thinks this. Nobody else thinks what he is saying and what the rumor is he's saying is the way it is. Everybody that watches football and watched that Rams-Cardinals Monday Night Football game, whether you were there like me or you were watching on TV, knows that Kyler was a lot of the problem that day. And the reason the Rams, who, like you said, are the eventual Super Bowl champions, killed us was maybe majority reason Kyler Murray. Okay? His play down the stretch wasn't good during the season. And I mean, he doesn't run as much anymore. I don't know what's going through Kyler Murray's head. So here's this is what I got to say about this. Okay, there's two things I want from Kyler Murray. Okay, I want a public apology for this stuff that's going on, for deleting his social media, for being a big baby. Okay, and hating on the organization, right? And I want him to stop playing I want him to stop playing video games. Okay, stop playing video games. I get that you're a big Twitch guy, but franchise quarterbacks don't play video games, bro. They don't play video games. Okay, you think Joe Burrow's sitting there playing video games? Now Matthew Stafford's older, so he definitely isn't. But like, did you think Matthew Stafford was playing video games when he was with Detroit? So no more video games, at least for 1 year. At least for 1 year. Next year, we need to win that Super Bowl in Arizona. So, we got to make it 3 for 3. So just next year. So for 1 year, quit video games. And I want a public apology. If that doesn't happen, next couple months, and if he does something stupid like request a trade, do it and go get Aaron Rodgers. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want. I'm done.
Really quick.
I'm done. I don't. Here's the thing, because let me explain the reason why I'm so. This might seem like I went super Cardinals fan and Kyler Murray fan to like immediately hating him because the one thing. No, guys, I'm a good fan, so I don't say things about my team. But Kyler Murray, he looks like a baby a lot on the sidelines. Okay, he complains, he finger points, he does this all game, right? He's kind of annoying as your franchise quarterback when you're not winning. So I already started to see a little bit of this, but because he's your guy, I'm not gonna sit here and complain about it every podcast or talk about it. I'm not that type of fan. Jared, you know this. I'm irrational about things. We're all irrational about things, right? I legit thought the Cardinals were Super Bowl contenders this year. And they probably weren't realistically, right? Like, but I came out here and said it. So this is not me changing my mind on the win. This is me now admitting that I was not the biggest Kyler fan for the last year, okay? And his actions and play on the field were the reasons. And now those actions are coming to fruition in the deleting of social media, in these rumored tweets about being self-centered, immature, finger pointer. I've literally seen him do it, right? The finger pointing stuff. And frustrated with the franchise. Bro, we've gotten better every year. Like, what's the problem? They literally added J.J. Watt. They got you DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, maybe Cliff's not the best coach, and maybe they'll fire him. Like, whatever. They'll get you a new coach, right? You can do that as a franchise quarterback. That's fair. But to delete the team's social media and have these rumors come out about you being self-centered, not a leader, you know who leaked that probably? It's like Chandler Jones, Buda Baker, DeAndre Hopkins maybe, probably Patrick Peterson since he's not on the team anymore. It's the dudes on the team they're saying this stuff. So I don't think this is going to end well unless it turns around the next month or really this week. It needs to happen this week. I legitimately think that the Cardinals will go after Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling you. And because here's the second tweet. The second tweet. Sorry, I don't want to. I'll give you your time to think.
It's your team, man. Take all the time you need.
It says Coach Cliff Kingsbury is self-scouting for better alternatives at quarterback. That's the tweet. That's a legit thing, guys. The Cardinals are already looking. So screw it. If the guys don't want to play for us, get out of here. And the hate that us Cardinals fans are going to have for that guy is incredible. I hope that he just goes play baseball because then his contract voids with us. That's in the contract when he signed, when he got drafted by us. He can't play baseball or he gets paid no money from us. So that's what I hope happens. I hope we don't have to, trade him and keep money and all this stuff. Like it's difficult to trade him. Obviously the assets would be great, but I really hope he's gone if these rumors are true. I really hope that he's gone. Your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers to the Cardinals potentially and the Kyler Murray stuff?
I have to say, you mentioned, if Kyler Murray does something stupid, a few things, multiple things. Very, very dumb, right? Obviously, number one was going the whole social media route, and I understand how important social media is today in this world, but you do just look very childish in doing that. And whoever told him to do that, that was his agent, a friend,
Nobody did.
whoever. They should be fired. If it was strictly Kyler Murray, that just really does show his immaturity. And number two, the professional league, dog, in high school or college anymore. Like you mentioned, this team has progressed every single year. They have put pieces around Kyler Murray, trading for DeAndre Hopkins, even though they got him for a bag of peanuts. That was a bad trade by the Houston Texans, but still, regardless, the Cardinals have gotten better every single year. And in the NFL, in the professional leagues, where the other team gets paid as well. This isn't just college where like you got to study and if you're just a better athlete, you can probably get away with winning and doing certain things. No, my man. In this league, like there's a bunch of grown ass adults. Okay, they get paid just like you do, and they're going to play hard, irregardless of the record, irregardless of the score, irregardless of your feelings. And right now, Kyler Murray is deep in his feelings, and he needs to simply get over that. I don't see how this relationship, if these things are true, how this relationship mends itself. And here's why. To me, like a lot of people say, oh, money fixes everything. To an extent, like if the players in the locker room really feel this way about Kyler Murray, how do you think they're going to feel when the organization really does give him the bag and gives him more control, saying, you are our franchise guy, lead us to the promised land? You really think the leaders on that team, like a Chandler Jones, like a J.J. Watt, like a DeAndre Hopkins, are really going to be okay with that? I don't think so. You can give a dude however much money you want from an organizational standpoint, as the owner, as the GM, as the coach. The players in that locker room that have to suit up with Kyler Murray, good luck. Good luck getting 100% out of them. That's all I got to say. So this organization has to be very careful about how they play this next few months, because you are potentially not only risking your franchise quarterback, risking that entire locker room and the leaders in that locker room.
Yep.
Right. So this is more than just about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray maybe started this fire. This can turn into a whole wild brush fire if the organization doesn't handle this correctly.
No, and that's the thing, Jared. Again, I said some names. Again, it's the J.J. Watts. It's the Corey Peters. That's who's releasing this stuff, right? That's who's saying that he's self-centered and immature and finger pointing. And here's the thing, like it's funny you mentioned if they do give him the bag. I mean, they don't have to give him the bag. He's not a free agent, so he literally has to play under his normal contract next year if they just don't give it to him, right? Or he's going to sit out, and I'm sure that's the end of it, right? Well, we've seen that plenty of times.
Well, because then if you don't do that, then you got to franchise tag him, and then it gets tricky. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole nother world if you let that contract
the franchise tag
expire.
Too. The franchise
you know
tag.
What I'm saying? Like
yeah.
So
no, go ahead.
You extend him now. You trade him with 1 year left, and you get the most that you can get. They really have one of two options.
Here's the thing. Like if that does happen, right? And the Cardinals go, we want our quarterback and we don't like any of the other players on our team, apparently. That's what they would be saying. Unless Kyler comes out and apologizes and says, I'm going to be a leader, like all this stuff. That's fine. But if he doesn't, it's going to be, you guys ever seen The Longest Yard? The second one? You guys ever seen when Adam Sandler's character is playing quarterback after he screwed over the whole team and talked crap and said he was going to throw the game, right? Remember the offensive line just let him get sacked? Here's what's going to happen, Jared. It's going to be Thursday night. The Cardinals are going to have to go into L.A., okay, and play in that Super Bowl like game or whatever, right? And it's going to be Aaron Donald if he's playing. It's going to be Leonard Floyd. It's going to be whoever they sign to replace Von Miller, and they're going to come in and they're going to destroy Kyler Murray. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jared. Again, that's why for me, and it does set up with the Super Bowl next year in Arizona, and with what's happened the last 2 years with the Super Bowl in Tampa and the Super Bowl in LA, with the teams actually winning, I legitimately think Aaron Rodgers is a possibility for our team with this rumor coming out. Again, No, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't get to that one. Yeah, I don't like it because I think Aaron Rodgers would make just about any team a Super Bowl contender, and obviously the Cardinals had a very good season, and it would put them right there in that mix. I want to see Aaron Rodgers go to an AFC team, like the Broncos or somewhere else that he is reportedly interested in going to. But that's an interesting one because obviously Aaron Rodgers holds all the cards in Green Bay. The reason why he came back this season and played was because he negotiated with the organization that, hey, this offseason that is about to come up right now, if we can mend things, then yes, maybe we can talk about a contract extension. But if not, the organization, Green Bay, has agreed that they will work on a trade with Aaron Rodgers to go where he wants to go. And so if you're the Cardinals and things do not get better with Kyler Murray, do you call Green Bay and say, do you want to make a straight up swap? Now, I don't think that would work. I think the Cardinals would have to give up some draft picks as well, because with Kyler Murray and the way he's acting, for another team to take him on, even though his contract isn't crazy, like you would obviously have to straighten him out, and he would, you know what I mean? So it's like I think the Cardinals would have to give up something as well as Kyler Murray, but a Kyler Murray in a sense for Aaron Rodgers. You, a Arizona Cardinals fan, on the door right now for that trade. Because, like I said, and this is kind of going towards what the Rams did and how they won the Super Bowl this year, putting all their chips in one basket. So even if you have to give up Kyler Murray and some draft picks and another player or something like that, you're going all in because you get Aaron Rodgers and that caliber, and he is 100% focused and wants to play, wants to win. Yeah, Cardinals are going to be Super Bowl contenders right away.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing, Jared, too. If you're Aaron, it does work out for both sides. If Kyler Murray does change his attitude or whatever, and they do end up trading him, if you're the Packers, you don't have to worry about Jordan Love at that point. You at least get to see for 1 year, right? Hey, if Kyler changes his attitude and actually shows he's a good leader, we have a franchise quarterback for 10, 15 years, right? Then it's our problem, right? After Rodgers probably retires after next year and we win our Super Bowl, what we're going to do. But, like, I'm down because we've never won a Super Bowl before, and we have the longest championship drought in sports, right? In sports. So
I wouldn't mention that again.
A lot of that's because we played in like 15 different cities over our franchise's, life, right? But I mean, at least ever since we got into Arizona, it's not no Super Bowls at all. Just the one where they played in it in 2009 or 2010. So yeah, it works out in that range. That the Packers, they get their franchise quarterback, and the Cardinals get a better quarterback, right? And a quarterback that's more respected, right? For Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't lose Devontae Adams because he has DeAndre Hopkins, and that's Devontae Adams. So he doesn't even lose that top wide receiver. And the receiving core in Arizona, no matter what, is better than the Packers, even with Devontae. Like his current, so he gets into a better offensive situation, right? Better weapons. You have the if the Cardinals can sign back Christian Kirk, right? You figure all this out, right? So, and then, hey, Rodgers, like, it's warm in Arizona. Really warm. But, like, it's not cold in the fall and the winter. It's, like, 50s, 40s, maybe, right? Like, there's a lot of golf courses, Aaron. There's a lot of golf courses. There's a lot of golf courses in Arizona. The bar scene is pretty great, right? It works out, right? There's 3 other professional teams you can go watch. You can go watch the hockey team play in ASU's little arena for the next couple of years. You can watch the Suns, who potentially are the world champs this year. And you can go watch the baseball team, who's not very good. But, like, I'm just saying, like, there's plenty to do. It works out on all sides. Mm-hmm. And if it takes trading Kyler Murray and trading away your future quarterback and trading away draft picks and maybe firing your coach and your GM, whatever you got to do, I want that Super Bowl next year in Arizona. And if it's not going to be Kyler that's going to take it to us, I want Rodgers or Brady, but I don't think Brady's going to come. And Brady's so I don't want Jimmy G. I don't want all these other guys. I want Rodgers. So That's my take. I'm done with Kyler if these reports are true. That's the silver lining. I'm done. I don't want him as my franchise quarterback. I don't want to cheer for the guy.
Well, listen, I think we're going to find out pretty damn soon because even though the Super Bowl just ended yesterday, all 30 other teams, right, the two teams that were not in the Super Bowl, have basically already gone into offseason mode, getting ready for the draft. The Senior Bowl was 2 weeks ago. The draft is not until April, but we're going to have, workouts and all that stuff coming up. And then free agency, I believe, starts the middle of March. And so we will find out very soon what the Arizona Cardinals plans really are. Because the best time to make a trade, right, is that kind of first opening window of free agency. As weeks go by in free agency, things start to dry up, and there's not as many players, not as many opportunities out there. And so if I'm the Cardinals organization, you are figuring out very quick where Kyler Murray stands and if you are willing to mend that situation. And if not, we should know within a month or so what the Cardinals are doing. So you can bet that we will circle back to this question. I will not forget about it. Bringing this up to Nick NenaD again. And like I said, hopefully we will know whether or not Kyler Murray is in that red for next season or not.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun offseason. If we end up getting Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to have to get out to Arizona a bunch next year to watch those games. That's going to be fun.
I really don't see that happening. More realistically, I see the potential that Kyler Murray is not suiting up as a Cardinals quarterback. And listen, you described a lot of good reasons why Aaron Rodgers would want to come to Arizona. Obviously, the weather. They do have a good team. The Super Bowl is in Arizona next year. Those are some great points. But what ties does he have there? And obviously, Aaron Rodgers is a different type of dude, right? So he's in the later stages of his career. He wants to go somewhere where he can absolutely win today, right? We've heard links to Denver, like I mentioned, because they just hired the Packers' former offensive coordinator. We've heard Tennessee. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of other teams. And so can Arizona best package? And Kyler Murray, if his head's screwed on straight, which right now doesn't seem to be, is a good start.
Yeah, no, it's probably not going to happen, but it's not out of the question. Right.
You want to know what the best news about all this is? This has nothing to do with my Dallas Cowboys, and I absolutely love it because so often the Cowboys in the offseason headline news, like that's when Dallas wins their Super Bowl. That's what Jerry Jones wants, is for the Cowboys to be in the headlines all offseason, irregardless if it's good or bad. And I'm just very happy that for once we actually have a competent quarterback who is signed. There is no drama. There is no anything like that. And now you can kind of feel how I have felt the last couple of years dealing with, the Dallas Cowboys' shitty management ways. So I wish you good luck. I hope you don't get any extra gray hair from this, but it will be a long off season for you. And like I said, tune into the show for the next, several weeks and months because we will be talking about this a lot more.
Absolutely. Hey, two other things I want to give to Aaron Rodgers, if you're listening.
Okay.
As a reason to come to Arizona. Well, first, this is more of a football reason. The NFC West, if we think what happens to the Rams happens and they do lose Aaron Donald and all these other guys, like they're not as competitive as they used to be, right? The 49ers now don't have a quarterback that has the history of winning. We don't really know what's going to happen with Trey Lance, right? They're going to
be better.
They're the best team in the division, in my opinion, and the Seahawks suck. So, and they might lose Russ. So, again, the NFC West is not as difficult as it used to be, too. So, and the other reason is, politics-wise, Rodgers, Arizona fits the bill for him. Okay,
that's true.
You don't got to worry about your vaccines. You don't got to worry about your masks, all that stuff. It's not Wisconsin, and it's not LA, and it's not San Francisco and New York. It's all like that works out too.
Good point. That's probably one of the biggest points. That's a good one.
Right. Yeah. I'm just saying. So yeah, hey guys. So next couple weeks we're gonna find content to bring to you guys. Obviously, we were primarily football for most of the football season, but we'll get back into the other sports and stuff like that these next couple weeks, and we'll stay on the football train as well. Baseball season was supposed to start today. as far as pitchers and catchers reporting. That's not happening because they have the worst commissioner in sports history in Robert Manfred, and the owners are just it's awful, and they're trying everything they can to ruin baseball and kill ratings. So
they're doing it. It's working.
Yeah, and I'm sure
we'll talk about that next week.
We will. Yeah, well, but it's a little tease that I'm not I'm less happy with the MLB than I am with Kyler. That's how much I hate the MLB right now and what they're doing. So that's a tease for next week. But for this week, we are done. We'll update you guys on who won the bets. I think I got 3 out of 5, but I don't remember what the coin toss was, all that stuff. So we'll update you guys on that. But I think I won it. So I know the kickoff. I won the kickoff for sure. I was cheering hard. I was cheering hard when that happened. Like, everybody's like, what are you cheering about? And I'm like, I just won $10. So yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, for this podcast, we're done. I am Nick NenaD.
I am Jared Smith.
We'll see you guys next week.